Hey, what's up everyone? It's Duskmos, and today I'm here with the Vongon Polyphrase. In this Signal Colors primer video, I'm taking my first look at a pedal, and today it's the Polyphrase, a really cool stereo echo delay with these awesome sliders and lots of hands-on control. You've got some modulation here with tone controls, rate, depth, all that kind of stuff. Really hands-on, really fun. It even has a infinite freeze mode where you can latch a loop and play on top if you wanted to. A whole lot of fun. The Polyphrase is kind of the newest sibling to the Ultra Shear here, which is a little blurry in shot, but they work really well together, and obviously they complement each other very well. The Ultra Shear is a reverb. I've featured it on the channel a number of times before. One of my favorites of all time, just really, really good sounding and yeah, good looking too. So today I've got the Polyphrase paired up with the Syntakt from Electron, coming out stereo, going out stereo into the TX6 and then out into my camera. Even though I'm hooked up stereo, I'm keeping it pretty simple. I'm not doing any kind of like LFO panning or anything like that from the Syntakt, just so we can hear exactly how the Polyphrase is interplaying between the left and right channels with the delays. I'm going to do a more in-depth video on the Polyphrase. This is just a first look, so I'm not going to go super into detail about everything it can do, but I'm definitely going to share enough and do what it says on the tin and make this a primer, get you kind of up to speed with what it sounds like and what it can do. You may have already seen the video that I loaded on how to update the firmware on the Polyphrase, and that was because that was happening imminently, and Vongon sent this out to me to demo on the channel, but they also asked me to do that update, so that's why that went out first. It was pretty timely, timed with the update, so yeah, but this is an actual playthrough. Anyway, there'll definitely be more to come with this bad boy. But shout out to Vongon for sending it over. Alright, so as always I like to start with my clean pattern, which sounds like this. It's kind of like a 90s video game kind of sound, like Duke Nukem or something, like you're creeping around looking for aliens. But then I'm going to play these kind of physical modeling type sounds on top, just to pepper them in. But I'm keeping it pretty simple just so we can hear what this is doing, and you'll see why, because it makes things a lot more interesting once I activate it. So right off the bat, one of the features here is you can sync the left and right channels. So I'm starting off with them synced, so you won't hear too much difference in either channel, but you'll just kind of hear what this sounds like as a delay first, and then we'll activate the sort of unsynced mode, and you'll really hear it kind of shine a little bit more. So let's check it out. So the time nom goes from pretty low, about 85 milliseconds to 22 seconds, so it's really long if you want it to be, which is pretty fun to mess around with. So right now the tone is between dark and bright. You can really hear it latch on to those kind of mid tones when it's in that level. When you make it real dark, you can definitely hear it's kind of filtered out. I don't have anything too low and bassy for the repeats to grab onto. Right now you can see it's set. It goes between 0 and 110%, so you can make it feedback on itself. Like that, which can be very fun. Right now the mix is about, I don't know, maybe 40%. Okay, so that's well and good. Right now it's on ping pong mode. You can switch. There's a mono with an external loop. We'll go to dual stereo. So right now, the depth and rate of the modulation are both all the way down, so you don't really hear much going on there. Bring the tone up, and then we'll get the modulation happening. I'm going to adjust the time here. Set the mix preferring the delay sound. It was a little louder there. So you can hear the modulation kind of working on the repeats, making them a little lo-fi. When they're synced like this, you can use the left one, the left slider here, to control the time as well. You can kind of get almost chorus sounds. Bypass. You hear the really tight repeats on these very short, plucky sounds. It's pretty cool that the slides make it in, so you really hear that. It's like scratching vinyl effect. Not gonna lie, I've had a lot of fun with that. Especially if you just kind of blend this in, like if you use it, I use it on a send effect on my mixer, and I would just have it fully wet, and I would just send like cool little glitches every now and then. It's pretty cool. Okay, so now the real magic. I had to do some of these. The real magic happens when you unsync the left and right. So let's do that now. So you'll see these rates are represented by this flashing, the respective flashing lights for left and right. They're fairly close to each other right now, but the more you separate them, you really hear that separation in the channels, which is really cool. You can manipulate the time knob, and you can see these rates adjust accordingly. So the relationships will stay the same when you change this, which is pretty cool. So for me, I feel like this, with all the controls, is really fun to just like get in there and tweak this. And obviously, you know, it'll have its use cases. I'll turn off this main sort of organ sound. I'm playing these, by the way, over here. And what's cool is when you have something interesting happening, you can freeze it if this is set to infinite. So now this is just a loop. How cool is that? So if we wanted to, let's see, go to this track. I can play the synth on top. And actually, I was just playing those notes in, but if I were to play the pattern, and well, unmute that actual synth track. What's happening? There we go. So that's my original recorded synth line over this infinitely repeating. But you can adjust the time either with the time knob or the slider. As you can hear, I adjusted just the left side. So you can still keep the independence between the two channels and kind of dial it in if you need to find something a little more on tempo or something. This does have MIDI, so you could, in theory, sync it. Oh, I thought I was on the other note. But as you can tell, it's just clean now when you have it frozen. That's kind of annoying. I shouldn't have done that. I apologize. But yeah, when you freeze with the trig, it just passes through clean. And then you unlatch the trig, and you're back to what actually in this mode sounds a lot like a reverb. It's pretty nice. You can change from dual stereo to ping pong. So you hear a little bit more of that back and forth action, which is cool. See, there's lots of cool stuff you can find. Bring the repeats down a little bit. Up a lot. You can freeze. Real woozy now. As you can hear, the tone is still active, so it's not like it's bypassing this control. It's still passing through the tone, which is cool. Yeah, it just sounds like a washed out droning reverb, which is really cool. Again, you probably freeze this. And now you just have that as a tone. All right, I'm going to stop the pattern there, but I'm going to try something here. Oh, that came back. That's cool. I guess it was in there. Let's clear the buffers out. Oh, it's probably because this wasn't so slow. There's a little bit in there still. Okay, so now this is up to 22 seconds, and we're just going to see kind of what happens. I don't know if these notes are going to turn out very good, but let's just try something here. Well, I just recorded all that. So let's see, I froze it. It's interesting. Sync these. That's cool. So we have the bits modified where I slid it, but then it was still kind of recording for that 22 seconds. So there's still moments like that that are kind of more normal. Turn up the modulation. And now you have some kind of experimental Heinbachian test tone, test equipment style, glitchy little loop that you can use in something. I don't know, pretty fun to experiment, as you can see. Lots of possibilities. And, oh, it's still going to echo out. We'll speed it up. And yeah, lots of possibilities, lots of really cool stuff. I feel like it's just like a little experimental, hands-on looping delay with reverb characteristics that I feel like is a lot of fun, especially with these like Buchla-esque style knobs and stuff. It's got some of that vintagey equipment kind of vibe to it, and it's a lot of fun. I love this kind of approach. I feel like once you're able to kind of get your hands on the sounds, then I feel like you're really, at least I'm really having fun. And yeah, it's a good time. Anyway, that was the Vongon. Definitely come back if you're interested in seeing more with this pedal. Like I said, I'll go in a lot more detail on the Polyphrase, and yeah, we'll cover ground. Anyway, thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.